Welcome back to our Glory Podcast. So good to be with you again. And again, thank you to everyone who watches our podcast. And as always, we hope that this is meaningful to you, that it's something that you can glean from and apply to your life. And then also, we do this as a way of just getting out information about our church. And so you'll see that we do a podcast with Adam that will kind of dig deeper into his sermon from each Sunday. And then we also have a podcast called What's Happening at Glory, which is what this podcast is. And so we want to get information out about just all different aspects of the church and different ministries. And we've had different people on talking about different parts of the church. And so we'll jump right in it today. And today our guest is my wife, Amy Stracner. And so she is here going to be talking about our missions team. And just kind of leading up into this, we started attending here 2010.
Or 11, I think.
Okay, 2010, 2011. And we knew pretty quick that this is where God wanted us to be.
Yes.
And a big part of that was when we started becoming involved, and we started seeing how much of a mission-minded church that Glory is. And that was a big part of us wanting to stay here and become members. Yes. And of course, we didn't know back then what all was going to take place, and that we'd be full-time ministry here and all of that. So God has done a great work in our lives, and we're
absolutely.
I know on behalf of our family, we're very, very thankful to the Lord and to this church for what they've done for us, and it's been amazing.
Yes, it has.
Well, almost from the get-go, Amy, you became a part of our mission team pretty early on.
I think I joined the mission team in 2011. It might have been 12,
okay,
but somewhere about that time, I joined the missions team.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And as you see, we have our slide up here behind us, and they'll be putting that, kind of in the forefront on the podcast as well. But our Glory vision, and we were when we were trying to come up with a mission statement and just to kind of portray and tell who we are and what we're about. Our leadership, Adam and our leadership sat down and we came up with this. And, as you can see on the screen behind us, it talks about mission and evangelism, discipleship. And then we also are in the process of looking into a building and campus of a new facility. And so that's part of it as well as we look at this. But the thing that we're focusing on today is the missions. And so you'll be able to read that mission statement as well that's up there as part of the Glory vision. And missions has been a very important part of this church. We're very thankful for that, that core group that really founded the church from the very start. That's what they wanted to be, was mission-minded. They wanted to get outside these four walls. And so we're very thankful to that core group that started Glory Fellowship. And from that point, we've always been mission-minded, and we want to strive to continue to do that. So we're very thankful for that as well. So we said you've been a part of the mission team since 2011. So let's start there. We're going to be doing a series of podcasts about our missions here, and you'll see some different folks on as we talk about some of our mission efforts and all. And so this is kind of the start of that series that we'll be talking about with our missions. And so let's start with the missions team. What's the purpose of the missions team here at Glory?
Okay. The purpose of the missions team is really just to seek out those opportunities to serve people and to spread the gospel outside these four walls. The mission of the missions team aligns directly with the mission and vision of the church, with Matthew 28 that tells us to go into the nations and Matthew 22, where he tells us to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love others. So we just look for the opportunities. We listen to church members when they bring us suggestions for opportunities to get out there and serve.
Yeah, that's great. And let's go ahead and answer this. Who all is on the missions team right
Okay.
now? Let's give a shout out
So
to
the
all those
missions
folks.
team consists of Adam Brewer, our lead pastor,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Howell, our children's minister, myself, Jim Hamilton, Brother Jim Hamilton, who's also one of our deacons, Jonathan Whitlock, who's one of our deacons, and Christy Cox, and Susie Jenkins, who has recently moved to another state, but we still consider her part of that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's always been a big part of it, and
She's one of the founding members of the church and the missions team.
Yeah.
So we're not really letting her go.
Yeah, we already really miss her. So that's who makes up the mission team, and so let's kind of talk about the meetings, how that works. I know you mentioned that people will bring ideas and mission opportunities to our church family, and that you guys kind of help decide on some things. So just kind of take us through the way y'all work through that in a meeting and kind of how that goes.
Okay, so we meet several times a year,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we do. We, if anybody has been brought a new opportunity, we present that to the group and we talk through it. Sometimes we have special meetings because someone has brought a new opportunity to one of us, and it's something we feel like we need to talk about quickly.
Yeah.
That's not always the case, but we always talk about any new opportunities, and we revisit what's already happening. We make sure that what we promised we would do in an area, that's what we're doing. We make sure that the projects that we have going on aren't getting stale. And we aren't the people that are necessarily out doing the work with these projects and partnerships. That's the church body as a whole is doing the work and providing any financial assistance. We're just the people who make sure that everything's going the way it's supposed to go.
Right.
And again, looking for new opportunities.
Yeah.
To get out there.
Okay, that's good. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it and talking about some of our the mission opportunities that we do have, and we part of our mission statement is we talk about that that we look at missions locally, nationally, and internationally, and so we have a variety of those things that we're involved with. So wanted you to talk a little bit about that. Let's start with some local missions here around this area or in our state that we're involved with, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. So locally, one of the things that we like to do is partner with organizations and other churches that are already serving our community in our area. We feel like it's a waste of time for us to try and compete with services and ministries that are already out there. It's a waste of our time and our resources when we can go and assist people who are already in place, providing services and providing ministries to our community. So a lot of times we're assisting others financially, and often we're out there with them. We're taking direction from those people and just helping them do the work that they're already doing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. And another thing, it's of course we have several of our own local mission projects and mission partnerships. And I'm not going to share all of those out loud because some of those we feel like deserve some privacy.
Right.
But that is an opportunity, and we encourage the members of our church to come and ask us. Ask the members of the mission team, ask staff members or others who you think or leaders or of the church or have been here for a long time. Ask about those opportunities, because there is a place for you in our local missions efforts. It's just something we don't share a lot of what those things are because of privacy reasons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's we have, we're going to get into this, but we have groups that go overseas to different places, and we're supposed to do that. That's wonderful. And we're supposed to do things, nationally in our own, all across the country and everything. But we also, there's work to be done right here. Right here. So we definitely, see the importance in that as well. Well, what about nationally? Let's talk about some of that.
Okay. Nationally, one of the biggest things that we do is we work with church plants across the country. And so as a missions team, one of the responsibilities that we have is to seek out new church plants that need assistance. We live in a part of the country where there's Christian churches, seems like on every
all
corner.
Over.
I mean, there's no lack of Christian churches in our area, but that's not the case all over the United States.
No.
And there are many cities across our country, and not just cities, but areas where you could consider them to be post-Christian. Christianity has come and gone in those areas. And in those areas, it's where we really like to work with new church plants. So as a team, we look for those church plants and we research them and spend time getting to know them before we commit to partnering with them. So typically we have 3 partnerships at a time that we're assisting financially, and sometimes feet on the ground. We send teams to these places that we partner with. We usually work with a church for 3 years, typically. COVID kind of threw us off on that, and the churches that we were partnering with in 2020, we kept on for a little bit longer because of the circumstances, and we're getting back into a normal routine right now. But typically it's 3 years that we partner with a church, and we typically have 3 churches that we're partnering with. That varies at times, but that's what we do typically.
Yeah.
But with that, what we found is on our visits, it's funny how God works. We have visited some of these church plants that we're assisting and found new partners that we weren't expecting to find. And I can give one example. 2012, I think, we visited a church plant in another city in another state, and it was actually in a city that statistically is in the top 5 of cities in the United States being considered to be post-Christian. So we were there for a week visiting this church plant and helping them do some work in their community, and we met a group of women by chance, not really by chance, but by God. We met this group of ladies and spent time with them, and they were Christian women who were running a Christian women's clinic. And these women were assisting women, supporting women who found themselves with unexpected pregnancies and didn't have the support that they needed. And this is a pro-life organization, pro-life clinic, and they were right in the middle of a pro-choice community. So they were harassed a lot. They are harassed a lot, and their job is pretty difficult and discouraging at times, and they're just trying to do God's work. So we found ourselves spending a lot of time with these ladies and developed a really great relationship. And so we still have a partnership with this particular group of ladies. And that was just something we weren't even expecting when we went there. So it's been 11 years, I think, that we've had a relationship with that particular group because of going to visit someone else, one of our other church plants. And that kind of thing has happened more than once with our national partnerships.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, the relationship that we've developed with the situation you're talking about, and we've had those ladies come down to our women's retreat, and you guys, there's been a women's group of ladies who went back up there, and so that was pretty neat. And then the other one was a place out west. Were you going to talk about that, or
go ahead?
Okay. And we had went out, and you and I had the opportunity to go on both of those trips, along with Kennedy and Kelsey, and but we had went out there for a particular church, and then, as you said, God orchestrated this other situation, and now there's another thriving church out there that we were able to partner with, and that was a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm. We can't take credit for it. We can just say that we were able to watch this happen.
Exactly.
We just got to see it all happen. It was very cool.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's a couple of examples. On the national level. What about the international?
Okay, internationally, we have partnerships with several missionaries, orphanages, and churches in Africa, South America, and Central America.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I think every single one of those partnerships were brought to us by church members who were already working in those locations.
Yeah.
So we have direct ties to all of those with our actual church members, who are the ones who have teams of people who serve there or are in direct contact with the people who are there, the missionaries that are in those places permanently. And I know that you have most of those or several of those team leaders come in to podcasts in this series. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about those, but again, that's great opportunities for anybody to get involved. All you've got to do is ask one of us, and we'll point you to the right person if you're interested in serving international missions.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And yeah, like she said, there's something for everybody to be involved, and we're all supposed to be involved in mission work in some form or fashion. And again, so thankful that we have church members and who give, who go do the work, all of that. So it's a wonderful thing. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the Christmas mission offering. So the Christmas mission offering, of course, is, as you can tell by the title, it's one time a year. So explain to us what that is and kind of how all that works.
Okay. Well, if you've been at Glory for even a few months, you know how busy we are in November and December. Mm-hmm. It's a really big and exciting time for us at Glory. There's 3 big events during that time, and I'm sure those events are the next in your series. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but I will talk about one of them, and that is the Christmas mission offering. So the Christmas mission offering is one Sunday in December. We would take 100% of the giving that day, or that week, I should say. Yeah. Because some giving is done online throughout the week. But 100% of that week's giving goes toward our Christmas mission offering, which we call a gift to the nations. So that one offering, we have several partnerships again and projects included that go into that offering or come from that offering. International, national, and local. 50% of it we designate to the Lottie Moon Christmas offering, which is the Southern Baptist Association's yearly offering to international missions. Yeah. So the first 50% goes straight to Lottie Moon, and the remaining 50% we split between partnerships that we have discussed and decided that that's who our one-time gift that year is going to go to. Some of those recipients stay the same year after year, and some of them are one-time, and then we move on to others the next year. Yeah. And the cool thing about this is really one of my favorite times of year because you can see it's just kind of a little snapshot of how Glory works and the culture of our church. Yeah. You see how generous God is and how generous is the people of Glory are. Every year since we've started, we've set a goal. We've set a monetary goal and shared that with the members of the church and encouraged our members, challenged them to meet that goal. And every year it's been exceeded by a lot. I mean, extremely exceeded. And so this year we decided just to stop setting a goal.
Yeah.
There's no reason to set a goal because we're exceeding it so much, and every year we're able to give more than what we plan to give to the recipients, and every year we're able to add recipients. So it's just a really, really cool thing to watch.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's just see how God works through our church family, and then so once that happens, then the mission team comes into play again and kind of helps decide where to allocate those funds.
We typically already know where we're sending all of that money, and we have always had an amount that we're going to send. But since we continue to exceed the goal, we've had to adjust the amounts. What we've decided to do is say, this partnership will receive 5% of the giving. This partnership will receive 10% according to how big their need is and how big of an organization that they may be. And we have actually had so much the last 2 years given that we were able to double every recipient's amount and had to look for other places to give.
That's amazing.
So it's no matter how much we get, all of it is going to go out as part of that Christmas mission offering. None of it's going to stay in and go to something else.
Yeah.
It's going to all go out to mission work.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that's a key thing here, and we're going to have to close up here because of time. But as we move forward and we talk about this building and campus that we've been talking about for a while now, making plans towards and all, one of the things that the church leadership has really stressed is that, we're not taking away anything from our missions and our discipleship efforts, anything like that to build this building, and I really am so thankful to be a part of a church that thinks that way, so again, it's a wonderful thing. So we'll go ahead and close up, and Amy, thank you for being willing to do this. I know this is not your comfort zone. Yeah. Amy is a behind the scenes person. She teaches at Jasper Junior High School in career tech and is doing a great job there, and has served in a lot of different capacities here at the church. She's taught the kids care groups, and she serves on the kitchen team and all those types of things, and she likes to be behind the scenes, so we had to pull her arm a little bit to get her in front of the camera, but you did a good job.
Thanks.
And but very appreciative of you, what you mean to the church, what you mean to our family, and that you have a servant's heart and for missions as well. And speaking of that, we have a lot of things coming up that you'll be hearing about, but one of the things that I wanted to leave you with today is that speaking of missions and evangelism, we have our Vacation Bible School that will be coming up the third week of July. That starts on the 17th, I believe. We have hours in the evening from 5:30 to 8:30, and so please, bring your children to that and to our Glory family. If you are looking for a place to serve, we always need help during VBS, so you can come talk to any of us, Michelle, anybody on staff. Be fine to come talk to, and we'll get you involved in that. So keep that in mind about Vacation Bible School coming up. And as always, if you're watching and you do not have a church home, we would love to have you at Glory Fellowship. On Sunday mornings, we have services at 9 and 10:30, and then on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. And so we just invite you to come be a part. And again, thanks for being with us, and that's what's happening at Glory.